Today, I want to invite you into a different way of seeing growth, not as pressure, not as urgency, and not as something you chase, but as something you gently explore. There is a quiet beauty in exploration that often goes unnoticed. We tend to imagine exploration as something dramatic, traveling far away, making huge decisions, changing everything at once. But the most meaningful exploration rarely looks like that. Most of it happens in small, almost invisible moments when you allow yourself to step slightly beyond what feels familiar. And this is where art becomes a perfect mirror. An artist does not approach a blank canvas with certainty, they approach it with curiosity. There is a willingness to discover rather than control. Each brushstroke is not a declaration of perfection, it is a conversation, a question, a willingness to see what unfolds. Life can be approached in the same way. Exploration is not about becoming someone else, it is about allowing yourself to experience more of what is already possible. It is about giving yourself permission to try, not to prove anything, not to impress anyone, but simply to see what happens. Imagine choosing to sit somewhere new for a few minutes, visiting a cafe alone, walking through a bookstore without a destination. These moments might appear ordinary, but they are acts of exploration. You are stepping into an unfamiliar environment and allowing your senses to wake up. You begin to notice details. These details are the language of art, texture, movement, atmosphere. When you explore with awareness, you are practicing the same attention that artists cultivate. You are training yourself to be present inside experience instead of rushing past it. And presence changes everything. When you are present, exploration becomes less about outcome and more about observation. You are not measuring success or failure, you are simply participating. And this participation naturally leads to improvement, but not the harsh, self-critical version many people associate with that word. True improvement is gentle refinement. Think about how a painting develops. An artist adds layers slowly. They step back, they adjust, they respond to what is emerging rather than forcing predetermined result. Each layer builds upon the previous one, adding depth and richness. Your personal growth follows the same rhythm. Improvement is not a race, it is a relationship with your own development. You try something small, you learn from it, you refine your approach. There is patience in this process, a recognition that growth is cumulative. One solo outing may feel uncertain, the next feels more familiar. Over time, what once seemed intimidating becomes simply another part of your world. This is not because fear vanished overnight, it is because you expanded. Expansion is one of the most beautiful aspects of embracing change. Change is often misunderstood as loss, as if becoming something new means abandoning who you were. But change is not erasure, it is integration. Every version of you contributes to who you are becoming. Artists understand this deeply. Early sketches are not discarded as meaningless, they are stepping stones. They reveal progression, experimentation, and courage. Each stage is honored as part of the journey. In the same way, your past experiences, including hesitation and uncertainty, are not failures. They are textures that add dimension to your growth. When you embrace change, you are not replacing yourself, you are widening your capacity to experience life. You are allowing new colors into your palette. And just as a painting becomes more vivid through variation, your life becomes richer through exploration and change. For introverts or anyone who experiences social anxiety, this expansion may feel especially delicate. The world can seem loud, unpredictable, or overwhelming. Yet exploration does not require dramatic leaps. It thrives on small, intentional steps. A solo date is a beautiful example of this. It is not a performance, it is not a test. It is an invitation to enjoy your own presence in a shared space. When you enter that space with an artist mindset, your role shifts. You are not focused on evaluation, yours or anyone else's. You are there to observe, to absorb, to experience. This shift is subtle but powerful. Instead of asking, "How am I being perceived?" you begin asking, "What is happening here?" Curiosity gently replaces self-consciousness. You notice patterns, sounds, movement, atmosphere. Your awareness expands outward, and in doing so, anxiety loses its central position. It becomes part of the background rather than the entire scene. This is not about suppressing fear. Fear is a natural response to unfamiliar environments. The goal is not elimination, it is coexistence. You acknowledge the presence of discomfort while continuing to engage with the moment. Artists do this constantly. They face blank canvases, unexpected results, and moments of uncertainty, yet they continue to create. They allow discomfort to exist alongside curiosity. Each time you choose to remain present in a slightly unfamiliar situation, you are strengthening the same resilience. You are telling your nervous system that exploration is rewarding. Over time, confidence grows quietly, not as loud certainty but as grounded familiarity, a sense that you can enter new spaces, observe, participate, and return safely, often with lessons. This form of confidence is durable because it is built through lived experience, not force. Exploration, improvement, and change begin to intertwine. You explore a little and your world expands. You improve gently and your trust in yourself deepens. You embrace change and your sense of possibility widens. Art serves as both teacher and companion in this process. Every creative act reinforces the idea that growth is iterative. You do not need perfection to begin. You need willingness. A blank page is not a demand. It is an invitation. And life presents invitations constantly. Moments to notice, to try, to step slightly beyond routine. When you approach these moments with curiosity rather than judgment, you transform ordinary experiences into creative practice. A walk becomes a study in color and rhythm. A cafe becomes a living composition. A solo outing becomes an exploration of presence. You are not escaping fear, you are learning to move with it. And movement is what makes both art and life feel alive. It is important to remember that exploration does not require intensity. Small steps accumulate. A few minutes in a new environment, a brief conversation, a creative experiment without expectation. These moments build a foundation of familiarity and confidence. They teach you that growth can be gentle, that curiosity is stronger when it is patient, that improvement is sustainable when it is kind. When you honor your pace, exploration becomes something you look forward to rather than something you endure. It becomes a dialogue between safety and expansion. Artists understand that mastery emerges from repetition infused with curiosity. They return to the canvas again and again, not to prove worth, but to continue the conversation. You can return to exploration in the same spirit. Each solo date, each creative act, each small brave moment becomes a continuation of that dialogue. You are not chasing transformation, you are participating in evolution. And evolution is quiet. It happens in accumulated moments of willingness. When you reflect on this process, you begin to see that exploration is not separate from daily life. It is woven into it. Improvement is not an external demand, it is a natural byproduct of engagement. Change is not an interruption, it is a sign of vitality. Art reminds us that beauty emerges from participation, from showing up imperfectly, from allowing curiosity to guide the next step. So when you choose to explore, whether through creativity, solo outings, or small personal experiments, you are practicing the art of living. You are saying yes to possibility, yes to observation, yes to gentle expansion. And each yes builds a life that feels more spacious, more vivid, more connected. There is no final destination in this process. Exploration is ongoing. Improvement is ongoing. They are not problems to solve, they are experiences to inhabit. You are allowed to move slowly. And in doing so, you participate in the same creative energy that brings art into existence, the willingness to engage with what is unknown and find meaning there. As you leave this reflection, consider one small act of exploration you can offer yourself, something gentle, something curious, something that invites you to notice. Approach it as an artist would, without demand, without judgment, with openness. Observe what unfolds. Allow yourself to be present inside the experience, and remember, growth is not loud. It is lived in moments like these, where curiosity meets courage and something new becomes familiar. May your next step, however small, feel like a brushstroke in a painting only you can create, and may you continue to discover, layer by layer, the quiet beauty of becoming.